The Creator Life is sponsored by the company Cebu. It's a co-working space that fosters creativity and collaboration, all while getting things done. Check them out in their two locations, Mandaue and Cebu IT Park. You can also take advantage of their other spaces in Japan, Singapore, Bangkok, and Hawaii if you become a member. For more info, check them out at thecompany.ph and follow them on Facebook and Instagram at thecompany.ph. Get 50% off a day pass or a flexi pass when you jot down this code CreatorLife50. That's CreatorLife50 to get 50% discount on a day pass or flexi pass from the company Cebu. Thank you so much to the company Cebu for sponsoring the podcast. Before we begin the episode, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to listen to the podcast. I know it's been hard and we're all at home or we're even making an effort just to get to work, but we'll get through this, guys. I just know we can. So, again, thank you for listening to the episode and enjoy.
Like, I'm recording right now na. Yeah. Okay, go on.
Anyway,
Wait, what did you say?
So I basically caught you before your gauntlet. Yeah, I'll just name it the gauntlet, apparently.
Yeah, alright. Yeah, sure, why not?
It kind of sounds like you're gonna be in a gauntlet for the next 2 months. So, yeah. Good thing I caught you at
it's gonna be right. You got my commitment right before this came through.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
Here's
good timing,
hoping.
good timing.
Well, cause you mentioned that you were gonna be busy in March and April, so might as well catch you in the start.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I won't be able
busy.
to join in the next few.
Yeah.
So this is fine, and that's why I requested now we can like keep it like 45 minutes max or something, so that I
it's
can
fine.
get the day over with and then go home and then go to sleep.
Yeah, as soon as you can. You may have broken some of your rules that you set, like when you mentioned
Like,
it
what do you mean?
first time. When you mentioned it in our first interview. Yeah, you mentioned about your
rules again.
Yes,
my time management rules.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Right now it's being tested to the brink right now, my time management rules.
Oh.
It's being like deftly like put to the test, but so far we've been in on this, like I've been this busy since like maybe Monday, so far it's been good. Like the whole time management thing is pushing,
still
like,
holding up.
It's holding up.
Still holding up.
Yeah, it's still holding up. Still holding up. So hopefully it will continue in the next few months, and then hopefully it'll affect the team as well.
Yeah.
Like it will, like the habits will, will also grow onto the team. Because
you'll infect them with your habits.
yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah, kind of bad word to say considering what's happening now, but yeah.
Yeah, in fact, right.
Yeah,
I see what you say.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I mean, I don't think
fine.
it's too, Yeah, it's
Okay.
fine. It's fine.
Yeah. So,
Right.
okay, let's start.
Are you gonna do
since
this
you only
spiel? Yeah.
I'm gonna do the spiel in 3, 2, 1, go. Welcome to The Creator Life, a podcast that makes sense of how different creators live. I'm Julian CB, that's SIBI, and I'm really grateful that you're listening to the show. If you haven't already, subscribe on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or anywhere you're listening to podcasts. You can leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. That really helps the show a lot. So, the spiel was kind of fast there because someone requested me to have a maybe shorter than usual. That's actually the normal length of my episode, so it's totally fine. So I have on the podcast returning for the third time. I'm really grateful she took the time despite her almost becoming super busy schedule. It's Ashley Oy, so welcome back to the show. Yay.
Hey, yay! Good to be back. And I'm surprised you invited me again.
Why? Why would you be surprised? You're actually one of my favorites.
I don't know, like.
Yeah.
Aw,
Yeah.
thank you.
One of my favorites to have on the podcast. So don't expect this to be the last time. So yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Julian.
Anyway, so how are you? You've been you've been chill, and then you've been super busy, and then chill, and then super. It's like you're experiencing two extremes lately.
Well, thanks for noticing. Like, yeah, it's the norm. It's either one or the other. It's either I decide to take a break or I decide to go full on into something, right? It just keeps things simple, I think.
Yeah.
No gray area, no in betweens, you know.
I mean, life already gives us the gray
Yeah.
area, so at least you need some extremes in our life.
That's true. Like, yeah, life already gives us that, so don't need to overcomplicate it yourself, right?
So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a while. It's been a while since we actually met. Yeah. What?
That's true. We're not even together in person right
Yeah,
now.
we're actually. By the time I'm recording this, I am still in Japan. So, take that for what you will.
Yeah. And I'm in Cebu.
Yay! I'm surprised the internet isn't as
Yay.
cutty as it should be. So,
Yeah, I'm at the office, so the office is really reliable internet, so I'm happy that I can take the call from
Yay.
here. I'm actually in my car,
Yay.
which is why
yeah.
there's no other sounds around me.
Yeah, that's fine. Anyway, so
Right.
the main reason why I wanted you back on the podcast is because it's another year. It's 2020, and I haven't really talked about
It is.
anything about startups again. It's been a while since I've mentioned anything. Although, to be fair, I have one episode that's about a startup. So I won't. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
cool.
about. I think
No spoilers.
no spoilers yet, but I think it's from OJ Lopez again. Yeah, he came back to the podcast to do something.
I
yeah,
see.
yeah.
Right. That's cool. OJ is fun.
Yeah. So, yeah, he was... I think, I can talk about it now since I already recorded that episode. So, it was about his stint at the Final
Oh.
Pitch, Season 5. Shh.
Oh yeah, he did the thing.
Yeah, he did the
right.
thing. So,
Yeah, we gave him a congratulations in the first mixer
yeah.
last week, I think.
Yeah. I actually...
Yeah, well, that was fun. That was
He
fun.
actually approached me before the mixer happened. Approached by meaning just
Yeah.
a message in Messenger. And we recorded a podcast about it.
Uh-huh.
So I basically knew ahead of time.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
So yeah, that was fun. But other than
nice.
that, it was like, where is the startup content? Okay, so here we are. This is it. I'll probably be posting it earlier than I intended to. So probably within this month. I don't know. Depends. So anyway,
Okay,
yeah.
depends.
So
We'll see.
we'll see where this lands. So what on earth did I message you about? What did I say the topic? I forgot.
It was a. How do we. I forgot too. It was about the startup ecosystem and how do we help build it, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just look up your message.
Yeah,
there.
I was the one.
It's about.
I was the one who messaged it. I forget.
There you go.
What would it
What
take
would it
for a
take
better startup ecosystem in 2020?
for a better startup ecosystem in 2020?
Yes.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's it. That's it.
because a lot happened. Even just last year in Cebu, a lot happened. Even though I'm like,
Yeah, a lot happened.
yeah. Even though I'm I was basically off Cebu for half a year, which is nuts. Basically half a year I'm not in
Yeah.
Cebu, which is kind of sad, but at the same time it's like a new thing for me. So yeah, it's really really something.
It is, yeah. It's interesting that you still kept in touch at the same time you were gone for half the
Yeah, I
year.
know. It's kind of my way to still find ways.
Yeah.
I'm not BDO, guys. I just want to find ways. Anyway. Anyway, so yeah, let's get in.
Right, that's true. You know, not putting all your eggs in the same basket, more or less.
Yeah. Although, I might. This might be the first time I mentioned this one, but I might be doing another podcast that's really focused on tech. Because this one, I could just like talk about. I could talk to anyone that has nothing to do with tech at all. But yeah, it's about time I do a tech podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
interesting.
teaser.
Yeah, give it a
Teaser.
shot. If you know, for as long as the analytics tells you, for as long as the data tells you that it's a feasible endeavor.
Yeah, go.
Because it's always a very, I don't know, effort versus impact kind of thing.
Yes.
So for as long as the data tells you it's worth the effort, then go for
The
it.
ROI needs to make sense. Even if it's emotional.
Yeah.
Even if it's
yeah.
emotional ROI, because that's where
Yeah, even if it's emotional, yeah.
because it usually starts there. You don't, because the
Yeah.
moment you think about money in the beginning, then it's like, you won't go anywhere yet because you're already thinking about
Right.
that, even though it's not the right time to think about it.
Yeah, and then it's like, at least in our demographic, like a lot of the things that we can think about is, you know, like the value that we can provide is our time and our energy, like as young people. So around our demographic, you know, like salaries aren't that high, we're probably on investments and things like that, but we do have enthusiasm and our skill and our youth and our energy. And so, you know, the whole concept of, okay, what should I quote unquote invest in, or what project should I be engaged in, should still, you know, fall in between the same categories of, will this make sense in the future? Will this make me happy? Will this give me the fulfillment that I need? At the same time, the portfolio growth or the resume growth that I need in my future career, you know, things like that. So, yeah, that's where the the data comes in.
Yeah. It's gonna be.
Yeah. Anyway,
It's gonna be something that.
it's gonna be what?
Yeah, that you're really passionate about. That you really don't mind seeing that money not come yet. So.
Yeah. That's true.
Kat David.
Yeah, when we derailed.
Let us derail all the time. Anyway, let's get back to the topic before we go on too long again. So yeah, what would it take for us to have a better startup ecosystem in 2020? Because it's a new. People keep debating about if it's a new decade or not, but for the sake of newness, let's make it a new decade.
Let's just say. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know there was a debate. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. No.
Well, it's a really broad question. No, there are a lot of aspects of it that you have to think about. Maybe if I boil it down to 3, it would be the role of us, the grassroots, you know, the community, and then the role of business, which are people who are already entrepreneurs, who are already businessmen, already making money, already having their own companies, and the role of government and infrastructure and like the basic support system of society in the modern time. So all 3 layers have a part to play, you know, in making the ecosystem better. And, you know, because the ecosystem is that, right? It's a system, so it's many entities.
Yeah, it's not just one thing.
Working together towards a collective goal.
Yeah.
So the question is hard to answer, but like if I think about it, Give me a second to think about it.
Okay.
Well, okay, let me ask you, what's the demographic of your podcast?
Oh boy.
Like,
Oui.
who often listens to the podcast?
Okay.
Yeah, because, like, I could go on and on about this, but I would like to talk about something, that people who often listen to the podcast, relate to, so that it doesn't, it's valuable time.
Yeah, because usually it skews towards 20s to 30s, and wow, I'm actually saying demographics in this episode, but whatever, that's what this is for. Anyway,
I mean, yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
surprisingly, I would have thought it would be like it would lean towards one gender, but surprisingly, it's well balanced
Yeah.
for. Yeah,
Oh.
I was surprised. It's like, huh? Oh, okay. I thought it would lean towards one set of gender or something, but no, apparently not.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so
All right. No, that's the age range is good enough. So, like, you can guess from the age range, and that's like people who are either, just started into their career, or maybe 5 to 6 years into their career, or maybe 8.
hello.
So people who are starting
Hello.
out, maybe even hello, hello, and maybe even people already making moves on actually starting their own business,
Yep.
right? So I guess, what would it take to make a better startup ecosystem in 2020? I guess the first thing that comes to mind. Okay, like, disclaimer to your listeners, I did not prepare for this at all.
It's fine.
So it's all like on the fly.
Oh.
Speaking on the
Yeah.
fly.
Let's not repeat what happened last time. Wink, wink. I'll just
Yeah.
I'll just mention that line, and that's it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. We will not. I'll be more careful with what I say.
Go for it.
Right. So I guess the one thing that popped into my mind first is, proactiveness. So oftentimes in our demographic, like, we're still trying to figure ourselves out. We're still trying to find, the best skill or the best position or the best opportunity. So it's still a very self-focused time of our lives in this age range. So to make a better startup ecosystem would, I guess, be, your intent. Like, it would be good for people who have the time and the energy, like us, to be able to extend a helping hand every now and then to the community. So whether that's volunteering at your local technology group, or nonprofit organization related to startups, volunteering, or maybe even simply participating and being a regular and being an active member. Active member meaning somebody who asks questions, or somebody who makes a point to meet the people in the community, and maybe even helps facilitate introductions between people. Like, that is already like a huge part that somebody like us can play
Mm-hmm.
in the ecosystem. Not only does it, mix things up a bit, right? Like, not only does it give the nonprofit organizations the manpower they need to pull off an event, not only does it help people socialize, but it also helps you, like the person. It also helps you gain this reputation, or gain this credibility, or gain this, like, it helps people know you, and because people know you, it helps you also build your own portfolio. If ever, let's say, you're an artist and you want a bigger audience for your art, then the more you're active in these communities, the community will then give back to you by magnifying your message, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they feel that you make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, too many times have I seen, participants just go in and do the workshop and then leave right after, right?
And it's like nothing.
So one thing that yeah, and then it's like nothing. Like, they just take the certificate and go, right?
Yeah.
So I actually talked to a friend from Singapore, and, like, he's a business owner, and what he does is he he also organizes events, and what he does is he only talks to the people who stays behind to help clean up after the event.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he only talks, like rather he approaches or he provides an opportunity to those who he finds stay behind to help clean, the volunteers.
Yep, because
So
that's where it starts.
I mean, that's a
That's
huh?
where it starts, really, if you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. It is where it starts, and like that's already a big step to, also supporting other entrepreneurs, supporting other people. So it's something that you can do on your own. That's not so heavy, right? It's something, and if everybody does it at scale, I think we'll have a more dynamic network, and therefore a more dynamic community overall. Yeah, so that's one.
Yeah.
Another thing is also, but yeah, I guess I'd like also to think maybe you have experience, Julian, in working with a company, or maybe even doing this podcast. Maybe you can also share like how you feel,
Yeah.
about what I say.
Because it's funny how much I've learned from people through the podcast, and it's something that I guess I can say to other people, especially doing startups, like just try something. This is basically what I learned throughout the whole thing. Because if I didn't try doing this podcast, then nothing would happen. I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be making the effort of buying the necessary stuff. I wouldn't make the effort of like making sure that I have this scheduled and making sure that I have some of your time, thank God, to just even talk. Because it's not easy. It's not easy to make it to everything that you do, that you really want to do and you want to achieve in life. It's not really easy to achieve. So it's gonna be boring if it's like so easy to get, because there's no challenge. There's nothing to
The-
learn, nothing to strive
To
for.
strive
Yeah.
for, yeah.
Wow, we thought of the same word. Congrats. Anyway. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's true. Oh, that's nice. Thanks for sharing that.
it's fun. It's fun to explore how other people think, which is basically what there are two reasons why I do the podcast. One, to get to know other people, and yeah, basically an excuse for me to talk to other people when otherwise I wouldn't be able to. Seriously, I've talked to talked to certain people that I wouldn't imagine I would be talking to if I didn't do the podcast at all. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and then you're already doing your part in a sense of spreading the word, and giving a platform to these, oftentimes new entrepreneurs or leaders in specific organizations. So that's like the Julian style
Yeah.
of, quote unquote, making a better startup
Yeah.
community for 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. Cause like,
And I guess yeah.
cause it's like,
Because like,
you can be part of the ecosystem without actually having a startup. So,
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
like I mentioned, like an episode that the previous one I mentioned, where we can be like part of the ecosystem without actually being in having a startup or whatsoever, because like we're just surrounded by people who do it, live it and breathe it every day. So it's basically breathing the same air.
Yeah, and then it's also, because we're not in that position to, lead the front. They're basically like the how do you call it, the frontline, warriors. If I don't know how to call it, but yeah, since they're the frontliners, it's then our job to support them in our own way, right? So that's kind of how, as you said, we become part of the ecosystem without actually owning a business. Because we're not only, we don't own a business, but people who have businesses need to have people to hire, right? And people to support them and to work with them to help make their vision a reality. So that's kind of where we all fit in. We enable, these frontline entrepreneurs to do what they do, to continue what they're doing, and get help along the way in their journey. And hopefully in that process as well, we grow as individuals and then maybe even start off into making our own companies or even continuing helping other businesses along the way. Whichever works, it's fine. Yeah. So that's one that's one way for people like us to be able to contribute to the ecosystem.
Because
Then
because I don't think having a startup is not really for everyone, so at least there's something other people can do besides having a startup. So
exactly. Yeah. You don't have to be a business owner to be able to call yourself a member of the startup, Philippine startup ecosystem. Like I don't own a business. But I do support, many other organizations, many other business owners, to be able to do what they do, and I take pride in that. But it depends on the person, Like if you would rather not be a business owner, then there are many ways to be able to support it. As I've mentioned previously, like being a connector, being an active participant, being a volunteer. Those are many ways for you to be able to be involved, and still not own a business. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and then the second tier is nadayon the people who actually own a business.
Yeah, of course. What's there to support if they're not there? So
right, exactly. Yeah. It's like it's they're the reason why the ecosystem exists, right? Like they're the movers and shakers. They're the change makers. They're the crazy people, pursuing a unique way of doing business or a unique product, and they need all the support that they can get. But it's also their responsibility to be able to let people help them, like in a sense where they approach the community with openness. They can, I do agree that like just because they are an active community member and then they own a business doesn't make them an immediate sponsor target. Okay,
no,
like like they're a struggling business too, or they're also trying to figure things out, and if they say no to sponsorship requests, don't demonize them.
No,
like I'm speaking mainly from like experience and volunteer work. Sometimes it's we have to also understand like they're the exact same people that need help. So but sponsoring an event is one way to be able to support the community as a company. Another way is to spend time maybe in your weekends to do mentorship sessions with people who asked for it, right? Like maybe coaching sessions, and then once you form the relationship with somebody and want to pursue that kind of engagement long term, that's when you involve yourself into a mentorship engagement. That can work because maybe there are community members that are that are mulling over the thought of starting their own business, and they need help. So that's one thing a business owner or a startup founder, wherever they are in the business journey, to be able to do. Another would be actually doing volunteer work. Like you can volunteer as yourself. Like if you're a CEO or you're some executive at a startup, but you still want to be able to go hands-on into the community, then you can do volunteer work as well, as yourself, not as the company. And I'm also thinking a more impactful way because that person is in that position to work with other business owners, then it's also helping educate their circle,
Yeah.
right? Like helping educate them that the community needs our engagement. It needs us to nourish it. It's a soil that needs to be fertilized, and so just spreading the word of that spirit of this is what's going on. It's active, and then people here are talented. Let's help them make workshops. Let's offer jobs to some of these
Yeah.
people. So, just being an evangelist for the community amongst your own circle is also something that can lead to greater rewards, right? Like Geeks on a Beach, for example. Geeks on a Beach, oftentimes the lead organizers are already business owners. Like, they were essentially a group of volunteers, but with, really solid backgrounds. And that's why they were able to pull it off.
Yeah.
Such a big conference. So, like, their capacity is magnified because of their position,
True.
right? So, yeah. And so that's like, and one more thing that connects to the third tier that I just mentioned is that they can also, not really pressure, but they can prompt political positions. Like, they can prompt politicians. They can prompt politicians to, maybe sign this bill or create a bill or revise this law, so that government also has guidance on what the industry needs, and then we can together craft regulation that can allow all of us to create an environment where we can all do business happily together. So that's also something like somebody in that level, in the company level, can do that will make a good impact and a bigger impact for the ecosystem, is that they partner with government agencies and help them, prompt them to go certain ways on how they establish regulation and infrastructure, to help everybody else in effect.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another thing too.
So
You're about to say something?
So it basically boils down to what you can offer, or like what are you willing to cause like sometimes we're at the end of the day, every single person in it is a person. So they still have lives, they still have stuff to do. They may like golf, or they may like basketball, or they have lives basically. So it's still what you can offer, what you can give. It really helps to also know what you're willing to provide, or what you're willing to give. Sad. Okay, you can't give everything.
Yeah.
You can't give it all. Leave some for yourself. That wasn't just
That's true.
yeah. That wasn't just for startups.
Yeah, that's
for
true.
everyone.
Yeah, that's true. You definitely have to leave some space for yourself as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I often use the phrase like the quality of your giving is only as good as the source.
Yeah.
So if you are not, at peace, or you're not happy yourself, then oftentimes people will notice that when you do start, engaging. So yeah, I agree. Like, you don't have to do everything that I said, right? Like, it's not a and situation. Like, it's not and, it's an or.
Yeah.
It's you can do this or you can do that. Not like you have to do this and that.
No.
But it's a or situation. Yeah, just as Julian said, yeah, it depends on what you want to do. But there are, like, sometimes I encounter, startup founders, and even community members, like, they feel powerless. Like, oh, I can't help. I don't know how to do it. There are many ways where you can do it. So, like, I guess the objective for me enumerating these things, it's that, like, there are many options. There are many tracks for you to go forward, and then it's just it's up to you. Yeah, as Julian said, like, it's up to how much you want to give, or what you want to commit to. You can just pick and then do that one thing, and then let the community fill in the rest of the gaps, right?
Yeah, there are a lot of us.
Because that's what all we wanna. Yeah, there are a lot of us, and and not one person can, sustain it, because that's also one thing, right? For a good ecosystem to come up, it's that it has to be able to sustain itself. So yeah, having one person lead the front, it's good on the short term. But then how do we then think about, and I personally don't know the answer to this yet. This is actually my
Your dilemma.
I guess my sub goal. Yeah, my dilemma, and something that like, it's my dilemma, and at the same time it's something that I strive to find out, right? That it's something that's led me to like liberating structures, like, but these are like terms that are being studied that involves like gathering together a group of people and seeing what they can do together, without having like this whole tree situation where there's one head, and then when the head disappears, everybody doesn't know what to do. So there is no, I don't know the answer to this yet, but yeah, that's what makes a successful ecosystem, right? Like, everybody is playing their part, each body part is performing independently and happily, but at the same time still coordinating with the rest of the body. So like, yeah, so that's still something that needs to be solved. But overall, if you're thinking of just yourself, like, what can you do as an individual person or as a company? Like, there are many ways for you to be able to provide support, and it will be an exciting experiment to figure out which way is the best for you.
Yep. It's not, it's like, it's also kind of like discovering yourself in a way, if you think about it. So,
it is. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So you have to figure out what you want in life. Then, if that's what's good for you, then go.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, it's also in the company wide, it's also like, okay, what are our company values? What do we hold important? What do we believe in? And then how do we then put our beliefs into action? Not only does that involve, making a good work environment in your company, a thriving work culture, but also like, how do you then, extend that into the community overall? So yeah, you're right. It's a self-discovery process, but instead of the self being just yourself, it's the self in the sense of your company, right?
Or your like your involvement in stuff. So yeah.
That's one way. And if there, and there's still the last one, which I almost forgot.
Just how many last ones do we have?
So
anyway, yeah.
This is the second one. Yeah, the first one was yourself as a person, like the 20 to 30-year-olds. Who are oftentimes still an employee in the employee status, but there are some of us that are business owners, which is where the second tier they can make impact through the second way. And then the third level, or the third group, is government. So government actually plays a really big part in moving the ecosystem. If it's not like the business sector spearheading it's the government sector. So like it's funny, like, so I work with Nanette a lot. Nanette is the assistant regional directress of Region 7 of DTI, I think.
Shout out.
And then she says shout out, hi Miss Nanette, you're awesome.
Go.
She told me like, so government dips its toes into industries that doesn't normally have very good demand yet, just to stir up that ecosystem, right? Just to stir up that industry. So I like the way how she wants to like experiment and provide funds and provide support to a sector that normally isn't, like right now, isn't able to hold itself, because there's still very few successful startups within the country. Most of the individuals are still starting out. So government has this responsibility of trying to foster that environment for these new people to be able to get the knowledge that they need, the resources that they need, to be able to flourish and then return value back into the country that has invested in them so much, right? Like, don't quote me on this, but from what I know and from what I heard from other people, is that Singapore, when it first started out, it just started throwing money at startups. Like, it just started throwing money, not knowing, I'm sure they made like some calculation, right? And some probabilities
Yep.
and some
I think
like
so.
studies on where this money is going to. Yeah, but from what I heard, they just they've just been throwing money at startups and research, and I'm sure there are like more specific areas there, but the effect of that is that people are wanting to innovate, they're wanting to succeed in those innovations, and that's kind of what's driving like success.
Mm-hmm.
So, government, not only in the money part, because money part is only just one area, right?
Yep.
Like, the other area is what I alluded to earlier, where they work with industry, they create legislation, they create regulations to foster, the good behaviors and to encourage people to do this rather than that, and so on and so forth. So, government really has and of course, internet, right? for them to be able to provide good infrastructure for actual businesses to be able to work, right?
Internet
that's
is
so
the
important.
number one. It's not just for our Facebook,
Yeah,
guys.
it's like,
It's not just for our Facebook.
yeah, it's not. And even roads. Oh my God, roads.
Yes, literal roads.
Like, yeah. Literal roads, like efficiency,
Yeah.
right? Like how people to get from the office to home, that affects their productivity, their happiness, their spending habits. Like, it is it's a road. It's such a way, a major highway for, it's a for people to be able to do things that they need to do, right, on the day to day, and it's just so important.
Probably underlooked.
Yeah, and so that's really government's part.
Probably,
Yeah. Oftentimes we just make jokes about it.
like,
Yeah, like, oh yeah, it's another road closure. Politicians are wanting votes for this and blah blah blah. But like, the roads are just so important for our ecosystem and just productivity in general, not only in the startup scene but just all over, right? Admittedly, the planning can be done better.
of course.
Sorry, like the planning can be done better.
There's always room for improvement.
As many things, there's always room for improvement. But that's also one thing that government representatives, government officials can like really like own, and then doing that well will really help people to get to events. Some people don't go to events because of traffic.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So yeah, and that's lost opportunity because that's where they could have met their co-founder or their employee, that would have given them like times 10 returns or something like that. So we've lost that chance because that person didn't go to that event because the road sucks, or they weren't able to take that call because the internet sucks. So of course, I'm speaking of like hypothetical situations. I don't know. I don't have the numbers to really quantify that claim. But you get the point, right? Like, we all have a part to play.
We just have to
play
the part.
Yeah, we just have to play the part. We have to play the part at the best capacity that we can, as you said. At the best capacity that we can, we'll do it. And when we commit to doing it, we try to do it well, right? And then that's really what will hopefully snowball into a better startup ecosystem in 2020.
Yep. And beyond, apparently.
Yeah.
Not just 2020.
and beyond. Yes. and beyond. Please. Yeah, and beyond.
Yeah,
hopefully, and beyond.
So, yeah. Before we go, let's catch up a bit. So,
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you can ask me.
I went down to business immediately, right?
It's
Like,
totally fine, but yeah, if you have anything to ask me, it's fine. Let's just take this short time that we have left. Yeah,
oh, sure. Right.
Yeah.
Wait, where in Japan are you, by the way?
I'm in Tokyo, as most people are from our company
Tokyo,
being sent.
okay.
So some of us are being sent in like
Right.
in the
right.
north. in Hokkaido, where it's actually a state of emergency still by now, as you're
Really?
recording.
Why? By Corona?
Yeah, because of since
Oh.
28.
Sorry, COVID-19.
Yeah, COVID-19.
Oh, God bless
Yeah.
them. Yeah, God bless them.
It-
Okay, another question.
Go.
Oh, sorry, yeah, what, you were about to say something?
It's fine. I just wanted to know how you've been, how if you're like if you're already feeling the effects of your current ongoing
Oh,
stuff.
my busy
Yeah.
time.
You're feeling it already.
Yeah. Yeah. I am feeling it already, but thankfully, like as we talked about earlier before we started recording, like the time management habits that I've established are still holding
Yeah.
up. So it's keeping me sane, it's keeping me like active. So just for some context, like I go to work from 7 to 7. Actually, it's going to be 7 to 9 today.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's okay. It's alright. It's okay. It's like that's why I also wanted the call to be short, no, because like I need to do a bunch of
Yeah.
stuff. But it's alright. It's like it helps being in an environment where I like everybody. Like I like who I work with. The project that I'm on that I cannot talk about.
Of course.
But I can talk about it briefly. Yeah. But the project that I'm on, it's actually exciting. So it's not like a slog. In a sense, it's not like a, oh my god,
Yeah.
I have to do overtime.
Yeah.
No, thankfully, it's not that situation. It's something, mentally challenging and physically challenging, and it's awesome to be able to do it with, a group of people that I like, who are talented and, are also just as excited with me on this project. So I'm in a good place for now.
Yeah.
For now.
Oh boy. I only have
now.
2 words about that.
For now,
I only
yeah.
have 2 words about that.
Yeah, what is it?
Sana all.
Oh man. Yeah, oh man. Yeah, I know. I feel so blessed.
Yeah.
I feel so blessed to the situation. Like, it's not sana all, right? Yeah, hopefully everybody will be in that place.
Yeah.
Be in that situation where they feel excited about what they do and they feel excited about who they
Yeah.
work with. Because again, in relation to our topic, that will foster better startups in general, and therefore that will foster better ecosystems, right? So, being in that personal happy space is also something that benefits everybody else overall and everybody who you have the opportunity to touch.
Yeah. I sincerely hope everyone finds their personal happy space.
Yeah.
That's probably gonna
How about
that's
you?
probably gonna be the title of the episode. I was thinking
Aw.
about like a more serious title, but then like you said, your personal happy space, and then it's like, okay, thank you for overriding the title. Yeah.
Yeah. It's. I mean, like, I'm also happy that this tough engagement has a time limit,
Yeah.
right? Like, you can only sustain as much extended work in a day, for not forever, right? So I'm happy that it's clear that this has a scope, and I think that also actually contributes to the happiness, right? Like, I know it's gonna be a tough few months, but I know there's an end to it, and I am working on a project that's exciting with smart people, and so that kind of like the situation contributes to that good happy feeling, right? Yeah. So I feel blessed that I'm in that position right now.
Okay, I will say it again. Sana all. Okay.
Yeah. How about you? How are you doing? It's been a while since I talked to you.
It's been a while. I'm okay for the most part. Seriously envious of your personal happy space right now. Cause I'm admittedly not there yet. Or like, I have a personal happy
Right.
space, but I go out of that personal happy space when I'm doing something else. So, yeah.
Right.
So
right.
you'll know.
Such is life,
Yeah,
right?
you'll know which one's my personal happy space. You probably know by now.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, I
you
do.
probably know.
Yeah. Well, such is life,
Yeah.
right? It's an up and down situation. And hopefully you're closer to the up than to the down.
Hopefully, because I've given my
Hopefully.
it's probably something I'm heavily considering now. So let's see if I get to stay more in my personal happy space, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, good luck, good luck. More power, positive energies
Yeah,
to you.
thanks. So I guess we can just end it here. So yeah.
Yeah. It's I'm also like slightly, admittedly, I'm so sorry to your audience, but I'm like also spacing out because of like the stuff that I have on my plate.
It's totally fine. It's totally fine.
So yeah.
I've had,
Yeah.
everyone goes
Right.
through things. So it's
Yeah.
sometimes we're busy, sometimes we're like probably the chillest people out there, so it really depends. So such is life.
Right.
Now I'm
Yeah.
having a hard time
Such is life.
picking the title now. So we'll see. We'll see which one comes out on top.
Well, I will give you the liberties to that
Yeah.
one.
It's on me. Okay. Anyway,
It's on you.
yeah. So
Okay.
thanks a lot, Ashley, for
Thanks for having me, Julian.
it's really fun having to get to talk to you again. Probably, yeah. As I mentioned,
Yeah.
off air, on air, you're probably one of my favorite people to talk to in the podcast and in life in general. So
Aw.
yeah.
Aw, you too. Thanks for having me, and thanks for being so open and,
Yeah.
and keeping on inviting
Yeah.
me and keeping in touch. I really appreciate
Yeah.
that, even though I take forever to reply.
It's fine.
But thank you, Julian.
At least you reply.
You're awesome. Well, that's true. That's true. I try to make it a point to always
Yeah.
reply, and yeah, you're awesome. Thank you, Julian, for what you
Yeah.
do.
You do. Thank you for what you do. You're awesome. I don't know how many times I keep saying that on a podcast. Like season 2 was like it's like if I had if there's one theme I had there was like Ashley Oy appreciation season, so yeah, it's fine.
Aww.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't. I should take a listen to those. I haven't really heard those
Yeah.
those statements
Yeah.
yet. Yeah.
That's how much we
Okay.
appreciate
Alright.
you.
Sige.
Anyway,
Thank you so much.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a closing spiel?
Yeah, I do. And I'll just plug for you. So if you
All right.
need a website or an app made,
Okay.
so go to simf.co or just follow them on their social medias.
Sims.co.
Yeah. They're everywhere doing
Yeah.
those awesome IG stories
Yeah.
where you always have serious face. That's probably not on purpose. So
Yeah, it's probably on Candid,
Yeah.
right? Because so I work as one of the managers at Sim, so
yeah,
like they usually take these pictures like I'm mid speak, like I'm in the middle of my sentence, so it's like that's why I always have a weird face. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna stop complaining. Like, just take whatever you
Yeah,
want. Like,
whatever.
for our marketing team, I love our marketing
Yeah.
team. So, yeah.
because it's like I always see you in the IG stories. Like you're always serious. It's probably work.
Yeah, they take these pictures during work. They rarely ever take these pictures like, during breaks
Yeah,
and whatever.
they literally have
So that's probably
they
why.
literally have the only excuse to do that because they're marketing people. So
Exactly, yeah.
okay, yeah. So yeah,
I-
guys, follow me on social media at JulianCB. That's JulianSibi. Follow the podcast on social media for updates and behind the scenes and probably something extra. I don't know. It depends. So that's Creator Life Pod on Facebook,
Ooh.
Instagram, and Twitter. If you want to support me financially, just head to my Patreon at patreon.com/JulianCB. That's again JulianSibi. I probably should just combine them in one spiel. So yeah, that's it, guys. thank you so much for listening, and
Yeah.
until the next one, Ashley, hope to see you in person soon.
Yes,
Yeah.
you too.
Okay.
All the best there, Julian.
Yeah,
See ya. Thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.